What up, this is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Peacock's new documentary series, Preaching Evil, A Wife on the Run with Warren Jeffs. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this. Okay, the timing of this docu's arrival on Peacock is quite peculiar, considering the fact that FX and Hulu are premiering their narrative miniseries Under the Banner of Heaven this same week, which also deals with fundamentalist Mormons, although a different set of characters. So I'm not sure if this is coincidental or intentional, but hey, just pointing that out. But on to the substance of Preaching Evil. This docu goes to the nitty-gritty of the dark underbelly of a sinister polygamist culture. Let me tell you right now, what Warren Jeffs got away with all those years was disgusting. This docu will infuriate you, and you hear it straight from his wife, or his victims, if you will, whom you can tell have cleared their heads from all that brainwashing, but man, that must have took some courage for them to revisit their painful memories again and share what happened in details just for the sake of this docu. But I do have a few criticism, mostly on its technical aspects, so stick around. Preaching Evil, A Wife on the Run with Warren Jeffs is a docu-series that tells the true story of polygamous cult leader Warren Jeffs through the lens of his favorite wife, Naomi Jessop. This 4-episode series gives a unique perspective into one of the most notorious cults, featuring an exclusive interview with Naomi Jessop, who was Jeff's personal scribe and was by his side for every step of his dramatic rise to power and his fall from grace. Also featuring interviews with Jeff's former wife, Vicky Thompson, and their children, Wendell and Sarah, and members of the law enforcement who were instrumental in the raid on the Zion Ranch and the lawyers involved in Jeff's sentencing. Okay, I am not a fan of the format of this docu. I'm aware that it's a recent production, but the whole thing just looks poorly presented. It looks like a remnant of an old 90s VHS that you just slap together with strings and glue. Don't get me wrong, the testimonies are heart-wrenching and jaw-dropping, especially when you see footage and photos of those girls jam-packed into one tiny room, all for the purpose of being married off to creepy old men. But the editing and the transitioning from the talking heads to the reenactments to the writing on the screen just really seem like a lost episode of old-school unsolved mysteries. It just looks so cheap and half-ass. Now, I don't want to go into every detail of what Naomi and Warren's other wives share, but one thing they said sticks out for me. One of them remembers an evening when Warren asked her and 2 other wives to have sex with him, and the light bulb finally turned on in her head going, wait a minute, what's this got to do with going to heaven? Duh, of course it's got nothing to do with whatever bull he's been indoctrinating you. So throughout the first 2 episodes, you go from, what are you doing, girl? Get out of there, to thank God you finally come to your senses, now really get out of there. Episodes 3 and 4 are when things start to become more interesting, because that's when Warren Jeffs gets caught and faces justice. And if you had never seen the man on the screen or heard his voice before, don't worry, this docu's got plenty of that material. But I commend this docu for telling this whole tragedy through the perspectives of the women, so as to not glorify Warren Jeffs. Somebody as evil and as narcissistic as Warren Jeffs probably loves it if it had been all about him. But making this docu be mostly about the survivors allows for a resolve that includes healing and maybe even a how-to for other women out there who might find themselves in a similar trap or a similar emotional sexual abuse. So yeah, I just wish this docu had been better made. If only it was more well put together. But it doesn't minimize the substance, which I admit is not gonna be everybody's cup of tea.